All right, today we're going to do a demo for you on an Okamoto surface grinder. This is a 3-axis automatic 16 by 32 inch chuck. So this is a 16 by 32 machine. This is the PSG 124N. And this has a built-in hydraulic system which is in the base of the machine, and your controls are mounted in the front, hydraulic controls, hand wheels, and over here is your operator's panel. So this grinder is currently wired for 480 volts, 460 volts. The grinding wheel takes a 16-inch wheel, I believe. You have to check. No, it says right up here, 12-inch, excuse me, 12-inch diameter by 2 inches wide, and there's a 5-inch bore in there. So if you have a 12-inch wheel with a 5-inch bore, that's what you can use on this. We got a coolant system on the side. It's got a paper, not a paper, but a magnetic separator on there. It gets the grinding grit and the metal grit out of the coolant. All right, so we're going to go over a couple of the controls here. This is the hydraulic pump. This is the grinding wheel. And then you've got coolant and dust collector, and then you've got your functions. You've got a readout here that tells you where you are. You could zero this. So what do we got here? We have a rapid up and down. That's your rapid movement. You can also go up. The saddle can be moved in and out by hand. And of course we can work the table by hand. So you've got your 2 dogs here that you can slide apart or together to set your stroke, plus 2 on the side here for your saddle in and out. So when we want to go ahead and get this thing to move, there's a table start button that we can get the table started. And as long as I don't have this in, if I had that in, that would stop the saddle as a safety. And this will start it again. So the amount that this is traveling in and out is adjusted with these dogs on the side. And the actual amount of the step, the increment it takes each time, is hydraulic adjustment, and that's set over here. As you turn this back and forth, you get a smaller or larger step. Now we want to pay attention over here to this control. You got a magnetic chuck on here, so we have it on at the moment, and you have a speed of a power of the chuck. It's a variable chuck, so you can have less magnet on for certain types of grinding. I'm just going to stop this for a minute. You have a park button here. Okay, so we have our control. So let's say we had a little block on there, and we come down and we get close to it. And then we can switch to our little hand generator here. If we don't have a hand wheel, you have this manual pulse generator, which is pretty accurate. And you have 3 different settings. In this setting here, just 1 click moves it 1/10. 1 click moves it 1/10. In the next setting, 1 click moves it, excuse me, previously it was 1/1000. Now we have 1/10. Okay, and then on our finest setting, we have, we'll set that to 0. We have 5 millionths, 5, 20, 30. It is 5. It's difficult to move it only 5. It's like a click, half a click. Let's call it 10. So that's really fine. I mean, you can come down, you can touch your workpiece, and once you realize or figure out how much more you need to take off, then you would set that value in this window here. You have to put it in a certain setting, the setup setting, and let's say we wanted to take another 10 thousandths off. So I'll put 10 thousandths in there. And let's say we want to do a plunge grind. Now you got 3 different modes you can do. You can do obviously surface grinding where you're going across a piece, but you can also do a plunge grind if you were grinding a slot. So you have ability to do that and to feed on the right side and the left side. And also there's a plunge cycle where you feed only on the one side. So just to do a quick program, I'm going to show you the plunge. Now you've got some other dials on here for your increment. So you have a fine and you have a coarse and you have a point that it changes over. And for these demos I like to make it simple, so I make my coarse feed 1/1000ths. So you'll see this go from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At 1/1000ths away, that's your grinding allowance, that's your changeover point. I'm going to switch to a increment of only 1/10. Or I could have 2/10, or I could have 3, 4, or 5. 5/10 would be the maximum you could do this with. All right, so now once I've got that put in there, I start my table going. And remember, we came down with the wheel, we touched our part. I want to take another 10/1000ths off. And as soon as I go from the setup mode to the actual auto mode, it'll start doing that. When we get down to the 1/1000ths, we're going to switch to the tenths column. There you go. And now we're at 0. You can program in spark out passes, and then it comes to a park. So nothing really changes when we do surface grinding, other than I put a number in there, and we're going to pull this out so that we get the table to move, saddle, and I'm going to put the mode onto traverse. So as soon as I start my table again, we're going to start the saddle moving. And as soon as I go into the auto sizing, so now you'll see when we reverse the saddle, we're going to feed down. There you go. And then when we come back, we go down to 8. So it'll continue like that right down to 0. And then it'll do whatever amount of spark out passes you put in over here. And if you want to stop the cycle, all you really have to do is go to here, and it will continue to go back and forth, but it will not grind down. You could stop to check your part, and then go right back into your cycle. And we also have over the wheel dresser that will come out, and over the wheel you can adjust the speed of that, and then when we go back in, you'll see that it automatically advances for the next dress. I'll show you that again. So we come out, and then when you go back in, it will move the diamond down, and that's adjustable. You can have a couple of tenths taken off the wheel, or more or less. So that's the whole unit. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.